sizes, different styles along the offensive line. You really have to shift the way you coach, and not all coaches do that. As you said, some are really stuck in their ways and they try to force it on people. But you look at Dion, with that snatch trap that he's really perfected, and then like you said, you look at Spencer Brown, and I want to touch on those two next. What's allowed those two to become so indispensable on the opposite side of each other on the Bills offensive line? You look at Dion, and he's always kind of been at the forefront in terms of one of the Bills' best offensive linemen. But I believe over the past few seasons, he's taken his game to another level, approaching all-pro level. And then you look at Spencer Brown at the beginning of his career. There were problems with penalties and this, that, and the other thing. He seems to have smoothed things out as well. You mentioned the technique. Has that been what it's been for both of those players as they've risen in the ranks a bit, both throughout the National Football League and on the Bills roster?
Well, I think it's a couple things. And as far as Dion goes, it's not so much the coaching on the field. It's what Sean McDermott has allowed in the locker room and in that team in general, which is what I think is so impressive of what McDermott's done, because he is an old school guy. He's kind of spanned across both eras. He allows his players to be individuals within a team concept. And if you watch Dion off the field and on the field is he's an enigma, right? I mean, showing up to NASCAR races, he's got no shirt on. I mean, it's amazing.
He's basically like a WWE superstar already.
I always say that, like, if there's therapists out there that want to teach people how to just be themselves, show film of Dion, because Dion does not care, right? Dion does whatever he wants. But McDermott allows that. And when you have a player that walks through your locker room door and he's happy, he's going to play happy. And that's the way I see Dion, man. He's allowed to be himself, and he's an incredible talent. And you are right. He's a top 5 tackle in the league. Then you got Spencer Brown. I think the biggest problem with Spencer when he came into the league was he was hurt. He had the back issues. Right. You know, he played at 1AA or FCS Northern Iowa, where a guy like him in Northern Iowa probably didn't have to be as technique sound because he wasn't playing some of the talent that other guys play every week. But I'm not taking anything away from FCS football, because my oldest boy coaches offensive line now at Northern Iowa, and my other son transferred for his last year to Northern Iowa. So they play good football. But you understand what I'm getting at, right?
Yes.
But Spencer had the injuries. He's a tall guy, and when you have back problems as a tall guy, it's debilitating. That training staff, medical staff, weight room got him healthy again, got him to where he could train again, which then allowed his technique to come out. And I think that's the biggest thing about Spencer, the maturation process and just getting his body ready to play NFL football. And now both of those guys are, you know, I talked about this last night a little bit to some people. You know, we're in this kind of I don't want to say panic stricken, but there's a concern amongst the fan base about the inside guys, about Connor McGovern and Torrance. Can we afford him? Will they be here?
Sure.
I'm not so sure with those two guys outside that we can't find guys to play inside and be just fine if they aren't here, because they solidify that line so much. So yeah, they're very, very important pieces. The contract extension with Spencer this offseason was amazing to get him locked up for the money they did. Dion's not going anywhere. So they're set for quite a while up front.
And to have the quarterback to go along with that, you really have 3 key pieces on offense figured out. I know the skill positions are kind of what everyone's looking at. You look at a recent ESPN ranking, ranks their skill group 28th in the league offensively. So I think there's still questions there. But when you have it figured out up front, that can really cover up a lot of